Good morning to all of you. So we will wait for the others to join. So meanwhile, let me finish the attendance part. Yes, you can scan this code here. I will share the code in group. Yeah, you can scan this code. Just I share in the group. Only 5 were joined today. Where are others? Okay, fine. So we will start. If you remember, so we are discussing different components of the visual programming. So on that, we are basically discuss what are the variables we are having, then what are the constants, then what are the different predefined functions we are having. Fine. So today we are going to discuss what are the control structure that is provided in visual programming. Okay. So basically, as we say, the control structure, like other programming language, okay, visual programming also support the control structure programming. So as you already know what is the benefit of control structure, so we, instead of executing all the, so what control structure help us to do is instead of executing the instruction line by line, so we can directly move to the particular instruction based on the decision made by the control structure. Fine. So what will actually benefit? It will reduce the overhead for the user. Okay. So like other high-level language, so here also we are using two control structure. One for the checking the conditions like if statement. Second one for repeated execution of the instruction that we basically use the loops. So here also we are using these two. One is for the conditional structures for that we are using the if conditions. So there are different types of if condition that we will discuss one by one. Then again for the looping structures, so to repeated execution of the different instructions So we will use the different loops here, and we will see what are different loops that are supported by the visual programming. Okay, so basic definition, what you mean by the control statement. So control statements are basically used to control the flow of program execution. Okay, we will how the how the program will be executed based on, or how we during the execution, how the control is shifted from one instruction to the other instruction. So basically, this control structures uh, are used to solve a particular problem with some intelligence. Okay, so based on some decision, or based on some decision or decision variables that we are done, based on the decision, particular statements or particular instructions are executed. So like other high level language, Visual Basic also support, like other high level language, Visual Basic also support the control structures such as, so here we have different type, like if then only if then, the first case of control structure. Okay, the second one is if then and else part, and third one is select case. Fine. So three control structure are used in case of visual programming as supported. One is if then, second one is if then and else, second one is select case. The select case is very similar to the if then and else that we will discuss. Then one more is used here, which is called nested if then else part. Okay, that we will discuss with the help of an example. So next, the looping structure is also suppose a looping structure like, so in case of visual programming, support looping structure like do while loop. Okay, then while when loop, and there is a for next loop. The concept is very much similar to what you are already maybe aware of in the high level programming language like C and C++. But there is a slight difference, and there are some additional things we have added or supported by the visual program. Fine. Then we know the decision making process is an important part of programming because it can help to store the particular problem by the applying the intelligence in it. Okay, so that is the reason we will using the decision making process. Okay, why we are using the decision making? So decision making basically it will be helping for the programming to solve a particular problem while using the intelligence. As I said, based on the decision, okay, based on the decision or the conditions, it can going to implement the particular instruction. Okay, so let us discuss one by one what are the control statement we are having. The first control statement is called if then selection structure. Okay, so the basic concept is very simple. If then selection structure perform an action only when the condition is true. So first thing you have to remember, the if then selection structure execute only one statement. Okay, so when Pandas is going to execute the statement when the condition is true. Okay, if the condition is true, then only it will perform the action. Otherwise, it will not perform any action. Just skip the program or skip the lines of code. Okay, now this is a syntax. You can see here, this is the syntax for the if then selection process. Now we are having if is your keyword, then we are having the condition statement, then again, then is a keyword. Now this is a structure for the visual programming. If condition, okay, or decision making, then if this condition is true, if this condition will be true, then we will go for the statement part, and you have to end with the end if statement. Okay, there is a slight difference in structure. Okay, you have to remember the structure, syntax for the if then. Okay, so it will be if then condition part, then keyword. Okay, if the condition is true, if I say the condition is true, then we will execute the statement part. Then every if statement is ended with end if statement. For example, if we see the example of this, now I'm using if average. Now this is a decision variable. I can say this is a decision variable for the condition. Now if the average is greater than 75, okay, if the average is greater than 75, then if the condition is true, then I'm performing the statement, which is just text grade dot text, which is basically the variable. Okay, now this is a variable text grade dot text. store a character, okay, A. Then we will end with the if and condition. Okay, here basically you have to remember the syntax for the if then part. Okay, and second thing is it will execute only one statement or it will perform only one action if the condition is true. If the condition is true, then it will perform the action, and if the condition is false, it simply skip the action. Fine. Okay, now second control statement is called if, then, and else selection structure. So in case of if, then, and else selection structure, we are having two actions to perform. Okay, so the two actions will be based on the condition whether it is true or false. If the condition is true, okay, then we perform the then action, and if the condition is false, then we perform the else part. Okay, so as we know the definition, the if then else selection structure allow the programmer to specify what the different action to be performed when the condition is true and when the condition is false. So based on the that we can perform. That is, when the condition is true, we perform certain action, and when the condition is false, we will perform a certain action. Then the next is what is syntax? Syntax is very simple, quite similar to the previous one, but there will be a else part. Okay, now there will be if. Now I will check the condition. If condition is true, if this condition is true, then we perform this statement. Okay. If this condition is false, now we will skip this one. So we'll move the else part. Okay. Then else part we will execute this one. Again, you have to remember. So every if statement should be ended with end if statement. Okay. यहाँ पर एक स्लाइड चेंजेस है सिंटैक्स में. जो भी आपका if statement स्टार्ट करोगे उसको end if statement से end करना. Right. If the condition is true, then you perform certain action. Else, you perform another action. Okay, so two actions are performed based on these conditions, whether true or false. Then two actions is performed, and second thing that you perform is you have to end the if with the end if. Okay. Now here is the example. Example is now if there is again I'm taking the condition. Okay, or a desert variable, the average, if the average mark or average is greater than 50. Okay, if it is true, then we will store pass string in a text variable. Okay, and if the condition is false, that means if the average is less than 50, then we will going to store the string fail in a text text. Right. So what happened if then else selection? Two actions are performed. This is my action 1 and this is my action 2. Actions are performed based on the condition result or decision variable result. So whether it is a true or false, as this will be with the relation operator. Okay, always with condition will be relation operator. So final output of this will be always in Boolean format. If it is in Boolean format, it will be true and false. So based on this, then so now every if statement, I have to close then and if statement. Find the third type of control structure that is used on nested if then else selection statement. Okay, nested if then else selection statement. Now the nested if and selection statement basically says that we have, instead of having single if then else statement, so in this case we will have a multiple if then else statement in my visual programming language. So multiple statement can be implemented independently. So we can say dependently. Okay, not dependently. So it will like if the first condition is true, we will check for second condition. If the second condition is true, then we will perform certain action. Or else, if the second condition is false, we perform certain action. Or else, if the first condition itself is false, then we perform certain action. Okay, तो कहने का मतलब है यहाँ पर मल्टीपल स्टेटमेंट और मल्टीपल इफ देन एल्स स्टेटमेंट हम लोग यूज करते हैं टू परफॉर्म एन एक्शन. So let me discuss an example. It will be clear. Now there is a two method basically you can remember. So for the syntax for nested if then else. So there are two different types of method we can use. Okay, the first one is the if else statements can be nested dependently and it can be nested independently. Okay, now this is a dependent case. Okay, now how it is executed? Now if there is condition, now if this condition is true, then we will go. If this condition is true, then we will implement this statement, perform this action one. Let me write as action one. Okay. Then if this condition is false, we will go to else part. Now again in else part, we are having another condition. Okay. Now again we will check for the condition true and false. Okay. If it is true, then we perform the action two. This is the action two. Okay. If this condition is false, again this will continue. This will be checked for the else if condition. So what happening here now? What we are done? So basically, what we are doing? So multiple if then statements are placed in my programming language. So whenever we place a multiple if else statements, so we will check for the uh, multiple types whether the condition is true. Based on this, the condition result, the final action will be performed. Okay, this is one method to declare nested for loop. This is the second method. Okay, where we can uh, use with if condition one, then we can execute the statement. Then if else condition, then we can execute the statement. Okay. Now, what is the difference between these two? The difference between these two. Now, in this case, this and if will be used for the this one, and this and can be used for the this one, and this and can be for the outer loop. Okay. Now, this is example. Now, we take an example. So now this is the first condition. Now, if I take the condition, if the average is greater than 75. Then we are going to perform this action one, that is grade equal to 1 or text grade dot text equal to 1. Else if it is false, if it is false, I will check the second condition, which is average is greater than 65. Now if it is true, then I will go for the this action 2. Action 2 is performed. Okay, where the text grade dot text equal to b. Or else if this condition is both the condition is false, means this condition is false, then I will go for the third condition where we are checking if the average is greater than 55. If it is so, so I am performing the action 3. Okay, this is my action 3. Okay, if this condition is true. Okay, now if all the three conditions are false, then I am taking one more condition. It is if average is greater than 45. If it is true so, then I will go for the next action. Okay, if all the actions are false, finally we will print it is the text dot grid or text grid dot text will store the value n. Okay, now we will end this with a single if and if, or you can end with the multiple and if statement. Fine. So this is something about what we are using conditional statements. Okay. So there is another. Uh, this is about nested conditional statement. So the nested conditional statement also can be written in case of select case structure also. Okay, same the nested case structure can also be represented in case of select case selection structure. So what the select case selection structure do? Basically, it compares one expression to the different values. Okay, then the advantage of select case statement over the multiple if then else statement is that it makes the code easier to use and maintain. So this is the basic reason why we are going for the select case selection structure, because it will be well structured and it will be easier for a programmer to code easily, and it can be easily maintained and readable. Okay, or you can say it is in proper format. So sometimes what happens if the multiple if, if that else statements are very large, okay, large number of multiple statements are used, so it may be a confused to your program. So on that case, we can go for the select case structure. Okay, so also one thing to remember in the select case structure. So we will compare one expression with a different value. So we will having the expressions that will compare to different values, or we can say different cases. So based on the value, we will going to execute the cases. Now this is the syntax for that one. You can hear. Now select case is your keyword which we are using. Okay. Select case is the keyword which we are using. Now there will be the expression. Basically the expression is combination of mathematical or logical operators. Okay. Then based on this expression will give some values. Okay. This expression will give some values. Okay. So basically it will be integer type values. Okay. So this integer type values are treated as a case. Now I can say case 1. If case 1 equal to value 1, now this is the expression output equal to value 1. So what will do? I will go for the action that is performed inside the case 1. Okay. I can write action 1 here. If the expression value is equal to, if the expression output is equal to value 2, so what I will do? I will go for the case 2. Okay. Then whatever action that are inside the case 2, that will be going to perform. Fine. So similarly, if the output of this expression is equal to value 3, it is equal to value 3, then what we will do? We will go for the expression value 3, then whatever the action that is performed, that we will perform. Fine. If none of the output is matched with the cases, okay, whatever the output we get, does not match to any of the value, then there is a case else statement. Okay, case else statement. This basically perform the action if none of the values are true. Okay, like in the case of if then else statement, the last else statement, if every condition is false. Okay, if the multiple if else condition, if every condition is false, so what we will do, we will execute the very last statement, which is called else. If the output of the expression does not match to any of the values, okay, then we will go for the case else statement, and whatever the action is there, we will perform. And remember, each select case should be ended with and select. Okay, otherwise it will give you an error message. अगर आप ये statement use करोगे यहाँ पर, it will show an error message. Okay, so each select statement should be ended with the select and case. Fine. So let me explain with an example. Now, what we are doing here, we are declaring a variable, as we already know. This variable declared with dim. Dim is a keyword used for explicit declaration of variable. Now, average is a variable name, and as integer means this is the integer type. Now, average basically we are storing a variable called text average or text. So whatever value we get, we store that one. Now, select case average. Now we are selecting case average. Now this is my case 1. If the average is in between 100 to 75, so I will store text grade में क्या store करेंगे? A store करेंगे. Now if the case value is in between 74 to 75, so I will store text grade में क्या store करेंगे? So I will store grade B. If the case is in between 64 to 55, okay, then I will store a grid text equal to C. Similarly, the case value is equal to between 44 to 45. So I will store the text as. Okay. Similarly, in case between 0 to 1, so I will store 40, and then else it will execute. Fine, and it will be ended with and select statement. Now this is equivalent. Now whatever just in the previous slide, what this same program implemented with the help of what multiple if that else statement. Now same thing can be implemented with this select case selection structure. So what is the benefit? It is easier to read by the user, and we can easily maintain and easier to understand. Okay, easier to understand. Fine. So these are the 4 different types of control structure we are using in our visual program. Fine. So whenever we require the control structure, so we will go for any of these 4 control structures. Okay. Then so next we are going to discuss the loop statement. So as we know, the loop statement is also a part of the control structures. Okay, so where we, whenever we require to execute certain number of instructions repeatedly again and again, so we will go for the looping structure. Okay, we will go for the looping purpose. So what happens here? So the Visual Basic procedure that allow a program to run repeatedly until the condition or set of condition is true. So unlike other programming language, Visual Basic is also supporting the looping structure. So what looping structure will do, it allows a program to run repeatedly until the condition or set of condition are true. Now looping is very useful for the Visual Basics because it makes a presentative work easier. Now basically it makes the programmer easier to write. Okay. Now what are different looping structures we are having in uh, in a Visual Basic? So there are three kinds of loops that is supported by Visual Basics. What is your do while loop? Then your for next loop. Okay. For next loop is the first do while loop. Second one is for next loop and while when loop. Okay, while when loop. So these are the three different types of loop that are supported by the Visual Basic. So let us understand one by one. The first one is your do while loop, which is very similar to what we have learned previously. So do while loop. Okay, so we will have a slight changes in the structure. So some so do while loop execute a block of statement for as long as the condition is true. So as every program or every looping statement will execute a block of statement until the condition is true. So do while loop also execute the block of statement until or as long as the condition is true. Okay, so Visual Basic evaluate an expression and if it's true, then the statement are repeated. That means we are having an expression or condition. If the expression or condition value is true, then we will going to implement the statement. Now this do while loops are not do this in case of Visual Basic, the do while loop has four different forms. Okay, or it is four different types. It can be present in four different types. So as we are discussing now, this is the first type. Okay, which is your do while loop or the do while loop, which is to execute the statement until the condition is true. Now this is the syntax. You can see that this is the syntax for the uh, do while loop. Okay, simple. Do while is true the condition. If the condition is true, now we will execute this block of statement. Okay, this the condition is true, and this will be repeated. Now loop is a keyword that is used. That means it will be repeated until the condition is true. Once the condition is false, if the condition is false, so we will come out of it. That is the first type of do while loop that we are using. Okay, now second type is slightly different with the first one. So this is an example of simple do while loop. Okay, so here you can see this example. So this is following. This is following the example. So where we use the do while count from 1 to 100. So this is I declare the integer called number. Okay, so I initialize the number equal to 1. Fine. So I'm using the keyword do while. We are using a condition till the number is less than equal to 100. So what action I have to perform? I have to increment the number equal to number plus 1. So I'm counting the value from 1 to 100. Now this loop is used. The loop keyword is used here. Now you can see loop. The loop keyword is here. That means now once first iteration is completed, again I will go back to the check the condition again. If the condition again true, then this thing is repeated. So this will be repeated until the number is not greater than 200. Fine. Now, second is your do loop while. Okay, do loop while. So in this case, do loop while. In the do loop while, the statement first execute, or we can say it will be first execute the statement and then test the condition for the expression. So The first one, it is very similar to your while loop. Okay, it's very similar to your while loop, and this one is very similar to your do while. Okay, do while. So what happened? So first, in this case, first we will execute the statement. We will execute the statement. A block of statement are executed. Okay, so this block of statement is executed at least once. Then we will check the condition. Now, if the condition is true, if this condition is true, again we will repeat it. Now, this process will be repeated until the condition is false. Now, same example you can see, or you can see the example. Now, we define a variable called number as a long type. Number is initialized to 0. Okay. Now, I'm writing do number equal to number plus 1. So, what we are doing here, now we are counting the number or implementing the number. Okay. Now here the condition is checked at the last. Once the statement is executed, now we are checking the condition. Okay. Now to start with the do and end with the while do while condition. Okay. It will start with the do. Okay. Then we are having the block of statement. Then it will end like do while condition. Whatever condition we require, result variable we can write. But in the previous case, what we have done, to start from the do, there will be a while condition. First, we are checking the while condition. Then we are having a set of blocks of statement. Then we are having a loop keyword, which will indicate this will be continued until it is true. Fine. So this is second type of that do while loop we are using in our user program. There are two more in the while loop. So let me finish today this two. Okay. So third one is your do until loop. Okay. Do until loop. So this structure tests the condition for falsely. Okay. The statement in a body of a do until loop are executed repeatedly as long as loop continue test evaluate to false. So what happened here? It is something opposite to a do while. So in the previous case, we are implemented until the condition is true. Now in this case, now you can see the statement of the body. The statement in the body of do until loop are executed repeatedly as long as the loop continuous test evaluate to false. That means the condition test until the condition test is false. Okay, until this condition statement is false. Now what will you do? You will implement this block of statement. Okay, so we can say it is something just reverse of what we have already discussed in do while loop. Okay, now this is syntax for that one. So do until is your keyword. Now we are having the condition statement here. It will be always true or false. Then based on this true or false, we will execute certain blocks. Then we will end with the loop. Another example. Now there is a number variable defined as a long type. The number is initialized to 0. Now do until number is greater than 100. Sorry, greater than 1000. Okay, until this condition is false, till the number is that is less than 1000. Okay, so less than 1000. What will do? We will increment the number and print the number, and this loop is used to. Okay, so these are the different types of do while loop. Yeah. Okay, the next second type of looping structure, that is for next loop we are having. So it is very similar to what we are having in our other for loop. We are already using different programming language. So here what the syntax is follows. So syntax will start from for. There will be a counter to initialize the variable. Okay, counter start. So how the counter is defined? Now for counter equal to start to end. Now we will start from a certain value and it will repeat. Suppose I write for counter equal to 1 to 10. That means it will start from 1. Okay, the counter will start from 1 and it will end at 10. That means the loop will be repeated 10 times. start from 1, then it will end to 10. Okay, then start one step, then increment value will also given. Now, how suppose you want to increment by some value, then you can give the increment type also. Then this is a set of action that you have to perform, or set of block of action that you have to perform. Then always remember for the counter top, for top, then for type of looping, you have to give the next counter value also. If you not give the next counter value, then you will end up an infinite loop. Let us understand the example, how the example is working. Now, for is a keyword. Now, I'm using a variable called I 0 to 10. That means we're going to execute 0 to 10. Okay. Step 5. Now, it will be implemented as a 5. Okay. Now, that means it will first time it's 0, next time it will be 5, next time it will be 10. The implemented value will be like that. Now, statements is a block of statement that you have to execute. Okay. Now, next of 5 is next iteration. Now, this is the first I1. Okay, next iteration I2. This will be next I2. Fine. So, it will be similar. If you want to convert this one to something like for I equal to 0, I is less than 10, I equal to I plus 5. Okay, but the syntax is slightly different here. For I equal to 0 to 10, then step 5 is you have to increment by 5, then the block of statement. Next step 5 is next step go to the next iteration. Similarly, we can decrement also. Okay, the counter value can decrement. Now, this example, now for counter equal to 100 to 0. Okay, now I'm starting from 100 to 0. Okay, now I will decrement. By minus 5. Next time it will be 95, then it will be 90, 85, and so on. Okay, now next, again, we have to next counter is we go to the next instructions. Okay, so any doubt regarding this class? So basically, we discussed today what are the control structures that are provided by the visual programming. Fine. So what control structure that we are having? Okay, that we are having in our visual programming. Basically, control structure one for the conditional statement. तो कंडीशनल स्टेटमेंट में 4 होते हैं आपके, ठीक है. सिंपल इफ देन एल्स पार्ट, मल्टीपल इफ देन आपका सेलेक्ट केस. राइट. देन लूपिंग में आपका दो टाइप के लूप है, डू वाइल लूप वाला है और आपका एक फॉर लूप है. ठीक है. एक और एक है वाइल वाइल लूप भी है. वी विल डिस्कस इन नेक्स्ट क्लास. ओके, वाइल लूप. ओके, सो डू वाइल लूप, अगेन लूप वाइल लूप आर 3 डिफरेंट टाइप हम लोगों ने पढ़ा. पहला आपका सिंपल do while. Okay, then after do while, in that case we first will execute the statement, then we'll check the condition. Third one is do until loop, where we'll check the false condition. Then we have discussed something about for next loop. Okay, and what is the syntax of for next loop and how it is implemented. Okay, any doubt? Okay, if there is a no doubt, so we will end our class as the time is also over. So we will continue tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow we will continue and try to finish all these things. Then we will look for the programming, how we will implement these things can be used for the writing a program. Okay, thank you very much.